Hi, welcome to Fix That Format. I'm Pamela. I teach the computer classes at the Arlington Heights Job Center. Some of you may have been in class with me. Since we can't meet face-to-face, I've put together a video series focused on fixing some of the common resume layout problems in Microsoft Word. This particular series of short videos is about working with space in Microsoft Word, which may not sound like such an important topic, but turns out to be one of the key factors to happily creating and editing documents in Microsoft Word. In this group of videos, we will discuss how space is defined in Word, the difference between line spacing and space after a paragraph, and how to customize space in Microsoft Word. In this third video, we're going to talk about customizing the three main commands that allow you to change spacing in Microsoft Word. By customize, I mean adjust them out of their default settings. If you need a basic description of these commands and their defaults, you'll find that in video 2. So in this video, we're going to talk about changing the line spacing, changing the space after a paragraph, and indentation. Let's start with line spacing. It's easy to make adjustments to the line spacing. Just remember that line spacing only refers to the space between the lines of the paragraph. The space after is something different. If I want to change the line spacing in this paragraph, I'm going to click in it to select it. There's no need to drag your mouse over the whole thing. If you just click in a paragraph, it's selected. Then I'm going to go up to the Home tab on the paragraph group. This is line spacing. And if I click on this little drop down, it's going to show me my options. So 1 is single space, 1.15 is the default, and then of course it just gets wider from there. 2 is actually double spaced. So on things like resumes, maybe you want to change the spacing to single space, and you can see if I choose that, it tightens up just a little bit. Honestly, there's not much difference, but it is a little bit tighter. If I wanted to go back to 1.15, make sure I'm clicked in the paragraph, go up, choose 1.15, and it goes back to the default. If I wanted to do double space, which is 2, same thing, you're clicked in the paragraph, or if you wanted to do all the paragraphs, make sure they're selected. Back up here to the drop down, see if I change it to 2, then I have double spaced. And again, if I want to change it back to the default, I'm just going to come up and change it to 1.15. Easy. The easiest of the 3 spacing commands. Just keeping in mind what you're looking for, what's going to change and what's not going to change with line spacing. Understanding how to change the space after a paragraph is one of the best tools you have to make your document easier to read. This is especially important on a resume, since the reader will want to quickly absorb all the information. And if the spacing is all uniform, if it's all the same, the eye has no way to group the information into readable chunks. Probably the best example of this is a heading. So here I have a paragraph that I want to be a heading, so I don't want this extra space. Simplest thing to do, I'm going to click in the paragraph, go up to the Home tab, and I'm coming back to line spacing, which seems a little bit odd, but when I click on this drop down, at the bottom it says remove space after paragraph. And you can see that when I click that, it's taken out that 8 point of space, which is great. You can put it back in as well. So if I go back up to the drop down, and now you can see it says add space after paragraph, and that will put it back in. But what if I want to make it not 0 point, not 8 point, maybe I want it to be 3 point or 5 point? You can do that too, but that's not on the Home tab. You have to move back to the Layout tab. So I keep my paragraph selected. I'm going up here to Layout, and then over to this paragraph group, and where it says after, So to make that kind of change, I'm simply going to click in the box, type in 3, and then you have to remember to hit enter. So if I hit enter, you can see it tightens up just a little bit, right? Or maybe I want 10 point. So I'm going to go back up to layout. I'm going to click in that box. I'm going to replace the 3 with 10 and hit enter. And then of course there's more space after it. I want to bring it back to the default. Click in the box once more, type 8, hit enter, and now it's back to the default. I know I sound like a broken record, but understanding about spacing after a paragraph is just one of the best things you can do to make a document look more polished and professional. There are 4 different kinds of indents in Microsoft Word, although you may not need to use the indent feature in Word on your resume, but it never hurts to be prepared. You also want to make sure you don't confuse tab space with Word's indentation feature, totally different results. If you do need to use an indent, the kind of indent you're most likely to use is a left indent. And a left indent indents all the lines of a paragraph. So if I click here in this middle paragraph, I'm going up to the Home tab in the paragraph group. Here's Increase Indent. If I click it, it indents my paragraph a ½ inch. If I click it again, it indents another ½ inch. If I want to take this out, I can move to Decrease Indent. And if I click that twice, then I'm right back on the margin and I have no more indentation. You can also change the indent amount on the Layout tab. So if I move to Layout, here in the paragraph group here, you can see left indent, and if I just start using this little arrow, you can see that it clicks me up in terms of the amount of space in my indent. Or if I go the other direction, when I get back to 0, I know that I no longer have any indentation. You can also change this on the ruler. This is a little trickier, but if you want to do it this way, you have to make sure your mouse is in the right spot, which is this little square, and it should pop up and say left indent. And I drag it. So then you can simply drag it as far as you want to indent it. And you could go the other direction too. If I drag it back and kind of put it right there on the left margin, then I no longer have any indentation. So even though you might not need it for your resume, it comes in handy plenty of other times in Word, so it's worth taking a look at. So to round up, change the line spacing on the Home tab, that's in the paragraph group. Remember that you can customize the amount of space after a paragraph, but you have to switch to the Layout tab. And on the Layout tab, there's a paragraph group. It says spacing. Just type the amount of space you need into that little box, and remember to hit the Enter key. You can change the amount of indent by dragging the marker on the ruler bar, or you can also change that on the Layout tab. Thanks for watching this video. This is the 3rd and last video in the spacing series. If you want a refresher, you can watch the first video to find out the basics about using space in Word, and the second video in the series introduces line spacing, spacing after the paragraph, and indentation. Thanks again. See you soon.